Good morning and welcome along to AardvarkJoke episode 12. I'm currently your host, Ed Jing. I don't know why I say currently. Who knows? I might get booted off the schedule fairly soon.
There might be a coup.
There may well be a coup. I'm joined this week, as is currently the way things are, by Mr. Peterson. Mr. Peterson, what have you been up to this week?
I've been doing my tax returns, but in Roman numerals.
And the topic we're going to try and write a joke about this week is, it's a current, it's not even really a hot political affair, but it's a current bit of politics which has been going on. Liz Truss, Conservative Party MP, and one of a few people who managed to go on holiday during the pandemic due to her role as Trade Secretary, which I think, she's found a little niche there. She's been told
some form of current government minister.
Yeah, but this is the problem with doing all these topical stories, is it forces me to edit and release the podcast really quickly, just in case there's a little reshuffle during the hiatus. So it's probably quite a good thing for a professional standpoint.
So do we need to cover it as backbench MP / junior cabinet minister / senior cabinet minister / prime minister / disgraced former minister Liz Truss?
Yeah, parish councillor. Yeah, it's a very good point. Anyway, so Liz Truss, she's been told off by the Labour Party for taking a private jet to Australia. Now, you might think that's completely reasonable. Greta Thunberg probably quite upset by this. She generally seems rather anti-private jets. There's arguments about cost to the taxpayer and all that. Without trying to sound like a sycophant, I don't know how many people are in her crew. So when, for example, Snoop Dogg
in her posse.
Yeah, so when Snoop Dogg got banned in the UK for a couple of years for fighting security at Heathrow, it's because his total team was sort of 20 to 25 people, sort of mainly security guards and heavy.
And you were saying,
like that.
And he didn't register them all on the team sheet before he started the fight with security. So Heathrow security turned up with their best 11, and they were just like, "Well, this is grossly unfair."
The scrap was completely against the rules. No, I actually don't know how much it would cost the 25 seats to Australia. Plus, they might have to take extra baggage. Because obviously, the extra baggage fees could really add up.
Is Liz Truss? Oh, sorry.
Yeah, Liz financially is. Genuinely, I don't know what the kind of cost of these things are. A plane ticket to Australia is not cheap. But what I found particularly sort of amusing about this whole thing was that people are complaining about this. If there's anything you can do to increase your chance to get into Australia, the current moment in time is an appropriate time to do it. Maybe she's just been watched. Maybe she's a big tennis fan. She's thinking like, "Oh God, they haven't even let Djokovic in. What if they don't let me in?" Turn up on some sort of international trade embargo, and they're like, "Oh, you're not here to play tennis, are you, Liz Truss? Because I see you've got some running trainers in your second bag. So we might have to take you off to the side room and cancel your visa."
Are you thinking maybe she saw an opportunity, just like, well, they've got one person fewer in the draw now, and obviously as a politician, she's trying to do anything to increase her exposure. So, casually,
good point.
And yeah, could be doing that. But I mean, surely as a someone who loves the tradition of Great Britain, she should have really arrived in Australia on a big ship full of criminals, really, if she wanted to be truly traditional and appease the traditional right wings of the Tory party.
That's a good shout. You got some absolute diehard sort of Philistine is probably the wrong word, but I can't believe that the Tories are taking all this modern technology like jet planes. Yeah, which leads to an interesting question of, should she have taken a sailboat, or would they be okay with a piston engine sort of plane from the 19th? One of those flying boats from before airports.
No, I'm pretty sure they would have needed it to sail and be full of criminals, ideally.
Yeah. Also, a flying boat wouldn't work in Australia because it's notoriously hot, so the lakes would have evaporated.
I'm wondering actually if she brought Novak Djokovic with her.
It's a sting operation. Who's that guy, the Department for Energy spokesman? He looks a lot like Novak Djokovic, wears Groucho Marx glasses. Absolutely not. How dare you accuse me of trying to smuggle the world's number one tennis player into your country? This is
jokes on you.
Djokovic, our intern.
Yeah, joke's on you. He's got diplomatic immunity. Take that, Scott Morrison.
That's quite good, actually. That probably would work legally.
P.S. Please do a trade deal with us.
Yeah. And the guy just sits there, and the Australian Minister for Trade, or whoever it is, he's got a long list of things, meats, cheese, live animals, car parts, high-tech goods. He just spins his clipboard round and just etches off sportswear in front of her, like there's less up for negotiation now. I like that. I think that's quite good. I think that is the idea that she was trying to smuggle Djokovic in. I think that's good. But
the other thing to do is why she was there negotiating with maybe Labour tactics, because they don't want any more series of Neighbours or Home and Away. Maybe she wanted a free trade. Maybe she doesn't want to pay a tariff on every time Channel 5 shows Neighbours.
I think it's a big setup. She went there to intentionally not get a trade deal, just to try and upset them as much as possible.
No, I reckon it's quite the opposite. I reckon Liz Truss absolutely loves Neighbours, and Keir Starmer absolutely hates Neighbours and Home and Away and both the Minogue sisters.
It's some sort of deep level psyop to upset the Labour front bench. I'm just so sick of what's on terrestrial TV. And they've got to buy Sky, and then they look like they're cozying up to Murdoch because they pay for internet every month. Some sort of scandal like that. Yeah. This is a lot of sort of 10-dimensional chess here.
It is, isn't it? I think we've arguably written about 10 jokes halfly.
I think we've definitely got enough to write the joke there. I can guarantee that we've set the standard too high for delivery now. So the final 40 seconds of this podcast will be dry.
I think you've got enough jokes to have an amateur level set. So you have enough jokes to pass one of these jokes off at the Olympics. But when you go pro after that result, we might need to rehash it.
Especially if I go to Australia on a dodgy visa. Right, we'll go into the joke writing space now.
2 weeks later.
It's easy to have a go at celebrities flying around the world on private jets, upsetting Greta Thunberg and living life completely at odds with the common man. I mean, fair play to Liz Truss, who recently got criticised by Labour for taking a private jet to Australia, setting a record as the first British person to go on holiday in 36 months. A sensible person would say that she probably went to Australia to try and negotiate a free trade deal to ensure that there was an unrestricted supply of episodes of Neighbours and Home and Away into the TV sets of every person in Britain. A wise person would go as far as saying that she probably had a lot of money on with Paddy Power, and thanks to the newfound diplomatic immunity, the intern, a Mr. Jovak Nokovic, could finally get through the border.
I enjoyed that. Very good. Bravo.
Mr. Peterson, that's been Aardvark Joke episode 12. Is there anything you'd like to add?
Once again, my legal team have advised me to make no further comments due to ongoing inquiries.
Thank you very much for listening, and we'll see you again next time. Goodbye.